Welcome to Crypto Masterclass. This is Learning Cryptos, Part 1. Now, before we begin, there's a couple of housekeeping notes that I'd like to share with you. The first, this is going to be a series of live recorded calls. All right, we're always going to be improving and optimizing the information that we share. And I want to make sure that every time we make an update, it's the most relevant update for the entire community. 2, this is an intro call, so it's not going to deal with trading and mastering some advanced strategies. This is simply to help you get started. Of course, the next calls will actually focus on training. This particular one, or this particular set of modules, will focus on a little bit of context to give you a better understanding of what crypto is and give you some idea in terms of what we need to do when we do things and why we do them, rather than just blankly telling you to do it and you have to assume that this is the right thing. And of course, this is not trading or financial advice. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm simply sharing information with you for information purposes and education purposes only. All right. If you agree with this, let's begin. For this course or these modules, I have 3 goals. The first is to take action. I want to help you purchase your first crypto and actually hold on to it in your own self-custody wallet, not a centralized exchange that could potentially bar you from withdrawing, or if the laws change, it might prevent you from accessing your currencies. The second is to educate you. I want to make sure that you're safe out there. Crypto is a Wild West place, and before regulations and all other regulatory bodies come into play to protect the average investor, and that could be a double-edged sword, preventing you from participating in certain markets. I want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I've made. I've lost almost upwards of 6 figures at this point when it comes to scams and all different types of elaborate psychological opportunities that nefarious individuals use. And I want to make sure that you have the knowledge so that you can avoid those mistakes and keep more of your money. The last part of the course will teach you about some of the tools that I use, very basic tools, just to keep track of your portfolio and give you a basic managing strategy to make sure that you're staying on top of managing your money. Whether you're a set it and forget it person, or you're a swing person who may be interested in crypto during the bull run, and then get out when things don't look so great as they are potentially right now. There's going to be a bonus, and we're going to cover some basic Canadian tax information. This is where the majority of the community is. I'm sure in the future we'll update this with more locales like the US and other areas that might be helpful to our community. Of course, I'm not a tax accountant and I'm not giving tax advice. This is just information that I pulled directly from the Government of Canada's website, the CRA's website. Retention, repetition, proximity. These things are very important when it comes to learning new information, especially when it comes to crypto, because you need to be engaged. And so we already know that 70% of what we learn, in a presentation is already forgotten in the first day. And then it's a steep drop off after that for the rest of the week. Communities are key for knowledge retention. What does that mean? When you're around people who are just like you, who are sharing information and discussing these ideas, these new philosophies and potential opportunities, the ideas themselves become sticky and you become more acquainted with them. And over time, you become a master of them. I want to make sure that there's an opportunity for you to experience that for yourself, rather than just learning 70% of the information and then losing it within the first day. I want to invite you to our Inner Circle Mastermind. It's a paid group, but I want to make sure that you have all the opportunities to retain the information you have and continuously learn and be part of a growing group of people just like you, learning and sharing amazing ideas that will help to shape the future of the community. So who am I? My name is Will Chris Alex, also known as Will, Chris, or Alex. And this is me and my son. This is Zane. He's 16 months today. All right. In crypto, I've been in crypto since 2017. That's my first jump into it. I think it was January 2017. I've helped bring multiple projects, notably 3 of them, to the marketplace. These include cryptocurrencies as well as NFT projects. The biggest project I worked on actually did 270 times return on investment. I think that's a win. I'm currently building other web projects in the space, and I want to actually I believe that crypto is the future. I believe the metaverse and NFTs will be synonymous with going on the internet. And I believe this is a great opportunity for you to jump in as well. Let's learn about Web3. What is Web3? But first, if we're talking about version 3, we probably want to touch on version 2 and version 1. Version 1 of the web, if you remember this back in the 90s, it was just static HTML pages, and you would spend hours at a time browsing and finding new and interesting, cool websites that were on the internet. Then Google and Microsoft, then Yahoo came around and created search engines. And then, of course, MSN, and eventually Google came around and made the information economy more accessible. You can go to a centralized place rather than spending hours trying to find one particular idea. You could just go to a search engine like Google and find anything you want. Then Web 2 came along around the early 2000s, and that's when Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all these YouTube and all these other cool platforms started popping up. And that's when we went from the information economy to the engagement economy, or the platform economy.